I had to choose between my best childhood friend and the crush of my dreams. But what I didn't know is that this choice would destroy everything. And you won't believe what I found out about these two. This is MY story. It happened to me in my senior year. Get ready, because there's a plot twist that you would never imagine. So, I was that super popular girl in school, you know? Everyone liked me, but I was always a bit insecure when it came to relationships. And I had two guys in my life who were very important. First, Lucas. Guys, we've been friends since we were 7 years old. He was always the guy who was there for me in every moment. When I cried over other guys, who comforted me. Lucas. When I needed help with math. Lucas. When I needed someone to talk to. Always Lucas. And the worst part was that everyone at school would say, "Why don't you two just date?" But I always answered, "Oh, we're just friends." You know when you deny it so much that even you start believing it. Then Gabriel appeared in my life. Guys, this guy was everything I had always dreamed of. Tall, green eyes, played soccer, was popular but not a jerk, you know? He was kind, intelligent, and had that smile that made me forget my own name. And for the first time in my life, it seemed like he was interested in me too. He started initiating conversations, texting me, sitting next to me in class. I began to live a real dilemma, guys. On one side, there was Lucas, who had always been there, who knew me better than anyone, who made me laugh even on the hardest days. On the other side, there was Gabriel, who represented everything I had always wanted to experience. That intense teenage crush, you know? Butterflies in the stomach, racing heart. And then the signs started showing. Lucas, who had always been just my friend, started acting differently. He would get a little strange when I talked about Gabriel. He started being more affectionate, more protective. Once, I was telling him about a conversation with Gabriel, and Lucas said, "Are you sure he's the right guy for you?" And I was like, "Why are you saying that?" Then came the moment of truth. The school festival. Gabriel asked me to go with him. It was the invitation, you know? The one I'd always dreamed of. But Lucas also asked me to go with him, like we always did. But this time it was different. He whispered, "Go with me?" As more than friends. Imagine the situation. I had to choose right then in the moment. I chose Gabriel. I went to the festival with him, and it was perfect, guys. We kissed. We became a beautiful couple. But Lucas? He was destroyed. He started distancing himself from me. He stopped responding to my messages properly. He no longer sat next to me in class. He didn't make those inside jokes that only the two of us understood. And I realized I was losing my best friend. I tried talking to him, but he always brushed it off. "Oh, everything's fine. I'm just busy." With Gabriel, things were great. Or, at least they seemed to be. We were the most talked about couple in school. Everyone envied us. But then some strange things started happening. Gabriel would sometimes act distant, mysterious. When I asked about his past, he would change the subject. Until one day, my best friend Anna came to me with a strange look and said, "I need to tell you something, but you're not going to like it. Get ready, because this is when my life started falling apart." Anna told me that Gabriel and Lucas had known each other way before I ever imagined. Not only did they know each other, they were cousins. But wait, it gets worse. They had a long-standing rivalry. Since they were kids, they'd always competed over everything. Grades, sports, their parents' attention. Everything turned into a competition between them. And here comes the part that destroyed me, guys. Gabriel wasn't really interested in me. He found out Lucas had feelings for me and decided to win this competition too. Lucas had never told anyone about his feelings for me, except for the family therapist. And guess who else saw the same therapist? Gabriel, his cousin. He found out about Lucas's crush and thought, "I'll win her over first, just to show I can." When I found this out, I was devastated. I went to Gabriel to have a serious talk. And guys, his reaction was worse than I imagined. He didn't deny it. He said, "Look, you're cool, but I just wanted to prove a point to my cousin." I was destroyed. I went to find Lucas to tell him everything and apologize. But when I got there, he already knew everything. He said, I always knew how Gabriel was. That's why I tried to warn you. But you chose him, and I respected your choice. Then I asked, why didn't you ever tell me you guys were cousins? Why didn't you warn me about him? Lucas's answer sent chills down my spine. Because I wanted you to choose me for who I am, not because of fear of who he is. I realized I had lost everything. The boyfriend who didn't really love me, and the best friend who always loved me, but whom I hurt deeply. I begged Lucas, please, let's go back to being friends at least. But he shook his head and said, I can't pretend we're just friends when my heart breaks every time I see you. Do you think this story has a happy ending? That I ended up with Lucas? No, I didn't. Lucas transferred schools at the end of the year. He said he needed a fresh start. Gabriel stayed in school, but never looked at me again.
And me?
I learned a lesson that I'll carry for the rest of my life. Sometimes we get so obsessed with what seems perfect that we ignore what's real. Lucas was real. His love was genuine. But I was blinded by a superficial crush. And the worst part is that when you hurt someone who really loves you, sometimes there's no going back. It's not like in the movies, where everything gets fixed in the end. Today, 3 years later, I still think about Lucas. Sometimes I see him on social media, happy, dating someone else. And I'm happy for him, but also sad for what I lost. Leave a comment. Do you think I should have chosen Lucas from the start? If you liked my story and want more content like this, hit like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notifications. And tell me in the comments, what kind of story do you want me to tell in the next video? I've got so many more to share.